By the way, we never did like actually work out an intro.
We did not, so let's just do this on the fly.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
This,
to welcome to Please Clap.
yes, welcome.
Please clap for us.
Yes, please. So, Joe or Captain OJ, would you like to start your introduction out first?
Hello. My name's Captain OJ. I've been an alcoholic for about 2 months.
2 months.
I gotta say I'm definitely loving it. Don't know what the whole craze about the negativity of alcoholism are.
Alcoholism are?
Yeah. I drink Jack about like 3 times a day.
Oh, okay. I get you. I get you now.
So yeah, that's me. Justice or Aka Monument.
Someone does not know how to say AKA, but
Someone doesn't know how to say Aka.
got me. Hi, I'm Justice. I get my. I don't know how to follow up such an introduction like you. I just don't.
So, are you happy that you are now a Twitch affiliate?
Oh, of course, Twitch affiliate is where to be. But in all seriousness, first time podcast with us. This is the normal setup. We'll try to do this every Thursday, at around this time.
And we hope you'll clap for us.
Yeah, please clap. And yeah, for those of you on the East Coast, this is kind of like, if you're interested in it, a decent little show that you can come to. We'll cover pretty much everything, from news, sports, science, and everything in between.
We will even be talking about a story about eels. I shit you not.
Yes, eels. That is the. We'll talk about that later, right? Around
we will.
at the bottom of hour
But
2.
just so you guys know, we are talking about eels.
Yes.
That's our line of topics.
Dicks and eels, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a dick story.
Yes, we do. But our first story shall be on the Catalonians and their wonderful independence movement that doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Well, it apparently is going somewhere, but at the same time, it's been halted.
Yes. It has been. But reload time. When you get that, your thing crashed. The Catalonian government put out a referendum, and they, apparently 90% of them have said, 90% voted that they want their right to their own country. But there's so much going wrong here. Like, for an example, some of the officials who officiated the vote said that there was kind of like these inconsistencies with the vote. Like, some people voting 2 times, some of them voting, some dead people voting. It was.
Basically what we have here in the United States.
Apparently, I mean, it's gonna be. It was a strange thing in Spain. They suppressed, the Spanish government took the police arm and tried to kind of suppress the vote as well.
National police as well.
Yeah, the national police.
Not the local police.
Yeah, and it was
Can you tell me about how it is that apparently it is unconstitutional for them to apparently secede from Spain, even though 90% of them want to secede?
And the thing is I guess Spain just doesn't see it as that, because their constitution just says they'll invoke a certain privilege inside of their constitution. I don't know exactly what clause inside, but it says that if they do something like this, it invokes martial law. And martial law is kind of a bad thing to deal with.
Happy times.
Oh yeah, no, it's a wonderful sight when you have to deal with police in the street with riot shields and everything like that. But Spain, you guys are dealing with quite an interesting independence movement. Reminds me of when Texas wanted to secede. And Joe, you're from Texas, right? Reminded me
that I am.
It reminded me when Texas wanted to secede from the Union as well, when Barack Obama wanted to.
Well, it worked just as well. Well, it worked just as well as how California is trying to secede right now under President Trump.
Oh, you made a good point.
We're currently still waiting on it.
Yeah, it is a process that is taking a while to get to this point.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day that Alaska just pieces out, becomes its own little private
island.
nation.
Like F you, United States will become our own country.
Fuck you. I mean, thanks for buying us off from Russia. We're glad we don't have them on there, but we're done.
I mean, you still got Palin, but apparently that's fine too. I mean, apparently she can see Russia from her backyard. If you didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Catalonian. The Catalonians kind of just say goodbye. But in other more tragic news on the home front for those in the United States, the Vegas shooting 5 days ago in around 10 p.m. I apologize, 10 p.m. Shot and killed 59 people.
Oh, it's now 59.
59, yeah, with over 500 injured. If anybody doesn't know about this story, the shooter named Stephen Paddock shot for apparently 10 continuous minutes. Imagine just a nonstop hail gunfire for 10 minutes. And just nonstop shooting. And for those of you who don't know, it was a 10-minute, just a consistent barrage of bullets coming from the Mandalay Bay. And it was hardcore, and it sucks. Yeah. Joe, you had somebody at that concert, at that Jason Aldean concert.
I did. Close friend of mine. Grew up with them in Moore Park, California, before I moved. Been friends with her probably maybe 6-7+ years. It's crazy stuff, dude.
Crazy.
But apparently the dude had... It's confirmed at least 8, but did they find more?
Of the weapons?
Yes, in the hotel.
In the hotel, they found 23 total weapons. That counts, and we're talking like thousands of rounds of ammunition. Apparently the police are talking about this bump stock that anybody can buy. It's like $100-something for this bump stock, and what the bump stock does is it takes the recoil from your shot and kind of just uses that to fire.
If anyone knows what bump firing is, it's essentially the same thing, except for it's a stock that allows you to do it with basically pretty much at ease.
Yes. And that's where they were getting the automatic fire from. It wasn't that he was actually using automatic weapons. They were semi-auto, but he was using a bump stock. As for the bullets, you had an interesting development on that, right? It was not the typical full metal jackets. It was kind of like a mixture of like a hollow point and a full metal jacket, right?
I actually not sure.
Oh,
that's what they reported?
That's what they're reporting, is that it didn't just... The bullets that he was using were not necessarily
tipped.
The one full metal. They were not just going to go straight through you. They bounced around quite a bit as well inside of people, and it's awful that happened.
Well, that's probably how then that the number was, even though drastically great, thankfully only 59. If he probably was using actually FMJ rounds, probably could have gone a lot more people.
Yeah. And we were talking about this earlier this week about how many people were at that concert. Around 40,000. It surprises me.
They confirmed it to be like 22,000.
22,000 people at the concert.
Yeah,
22,000
I'm guessing. I'm guessing at the affected area.
So 22,000 at the concert, 59 dead with approximately 500 injured.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been much worse than it actually was, and we can be grateful that it wasn't that. It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yep. Not to mention with the fact that how the first responders were able to act uh, in a very very tight, timely fashion as well.
So apparently, we already get calls for multiple people right now, calling for certain restrictions on the guns. On the guns used, he had multiple handguns, multiple rifles. I don't think he had any type of shotguns. But this douchebag shot himself in the face, committed suicide when the police started closing in on him. But it is being reported that he had the intent of leaving the premises, and apparently he also tried to target a Lorde concert too. So it's
she's still performing.
I don't know. I guess so.
Oh.
But that's what's being reported. Some strange other stories are coming in that are being reported, and it's coming from the one, the only Alex Jones, and his wonderful conspiracies about it. If you don't know who Alex Jones is, he is kind of this figure. He runs InfoWars, and he is trying to say that that this shooting is a false flag for some other major, like, top-notch government thing that's going on. I don't know why he thinks this. I mean, this is the guy who says that there's fluoride in the water that's making your freaking frogs gay. This is... It's just weird what this guy is saying. Apparently the newest conspiracy from them is that there was multiple shooters, not just one. And the other one was it's hard to even think of it like this. That he was getting his arms through the FBI, through the CIA, through the clandestine services of the United States, and that he was an FBI employee. What do you think of that?
It's a bit of a stretch.
A bit? I mean, are we... Maybe we need to change the definition of a bit, because that's a lot of a stretch, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing more... This guy also thought the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut was a conspiracy as well. That it was perpetrated by our own government. That it was a hoax. And if anybody doesn't know about the Newtown shooting, it was when... I don't remember his name because I tried not to remember the names of scumbags. He went to Newtown the Newtown, Connecticut elementary school called Sandy Hook, and he shot and killed multiple children. I think it was around 20 to 30, somewhere in there. I don't remember.
24.
24.
24. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm pretty sure that it was 24, though.
Yeah, it was somewhere around that, though. And he shot and killed multiple children plus teachers, and it was pretty awful. But he called that a hoax as well, and said it was a conspiracy for people to come out, and basically like a bigger government conspiracy. It was funded by George Soros and everything like that. But this is just one of the many things that Alex Jones says. We actually have some of his best audio clips coming up in a moment, but Joe, I'm really interested in your thoughts on these conspiracies as well as the Vegas shooting.
I mean, that's really all they are. They're just conspiracy theories. You can't really base them fully on what they're saying because they don't necessarily have any solid proofing. I mean, the dude's just... I'm pretty sure he literally just does this all for a big personality.
Apparently, oh yeah, I'm sure of it as well. But he's making bank on these types of things. I don't think he's actually making money off of the radio show anymore as much as he's making money off of his male enhancement drugs, basically. And I guess there was a story that came out that said that his male enhancement stuff is not necessarily even enhancing. It's pretty bad for you, actually.
It's probably made from China.
Made in China. It's within the New World Order.
Mm-hmm.
What, Joe? You don't believe him?
I have a theory that you might.
I don't have a theories. It's not a theory that Alex Jones is crazy. But something that's not crazy, something that people will say is crazy, but I don't think is very crazy at all, is Elon Musk wants to go to Mars by 2024.
Very ambitious goals.
That is ambitious, and I think he'll actually do it. I mean, Elon Musk is the guy who pretty much figured out how to use rockets and reuse them. Tesla,
make them a lot more efficient.
Make them a lot more efficient, yeah. And those are just some of them. What is?
But, I mean, do you really think we'll make it by 2020?
By 2024?
Yeah.
No.
So wait, he's planning to land by 2024?
Yes, he's saying in 7 years, SpaceX could land humans on Mars, and that is 2024. He wants to send humans to Mars and the Moon. He says it is absolutely crazy that we do not have a moon base yet. That we have not started to mine the moon of resources that could be useful to humanity. He thinks it's absolutely crazy we haven't made it to Mars yet, and he's one of the few people. I think he's really brilliant in his goals. I mean, the only reason why he wants to really go to Mars is because he feels that humanity will be overtaken by AI here on Earth. From what he's saying, I don't know if it's true or not.
To make somewhat of a counter argument on why we don't have a base on the moon yet is probably because we don't have, I'm guessing, like a good infrastructure plan to even make a base on the moon. True. Not to mention, to sustain life on the moon is pretty difficult, considering the fact you can't exactly grow anything there, and there's no like quick access to water. Which, I mean, air, food, water, kind of essentials for us humans.
I mean, you'd be correct on that. I don't think that. I think what he's trying to say is that why don't we have something like the ISS on the moon yet? But I don't think that we have the infrastructure, as you said, to create artificial air, recycle that air, create vegetation on the moon that could actually sustain more breathable oxygen.
Not to mention, moon doesn't really have any kind of atmosphere, so very prone to getting hit by shit.
True, and not to mention that I don't think we can create artificial gravity yet.
I mean, we don't really have to worry that much about gravity in terms of being on the moon because it has gravity. It's just extremely weak.
It's a weak gravity, weak gravitational pull to itself. Which is extremely interesting considering where we're at in terms of technology.
Yeah.
I mean,
also in the terms of mining it, the moon has a pretty significant effect on the Earth.
Yeah.
I don't think we should I don't think by now we should be mining it or anything, but I feel as though by now we should have a scientific study on whether or not what would happen if we did start to mine it.
Yes. One of the things that Elon Musk is actually talking about when it comes to Mars and how to get its atmosphere back on track for it's breathable for humans is nukes. He's like trying
nukes to everywhere. We would be perfect for that.
I mean, what? But from what we were talking about earlier this week, it was
It's a lot of nukes.
it's a lot of nukes. It's not just
A lot.
let's send one nuke over.
No, it's a fuck ton.
You need the nuclear arsenal of the United States plus Russia to even have a remote effect on the planet. And
Yep.
I'm trying to think of how many more nukes that we would need if that's just gonna have a small effect.
And do those nukes need to be like, I don't know, scattered to a certain point that doesn't fuck up the planet, or are we just detonating them all in one specific location and maybe like cracking Mars in two?
Yeah, there's always the risk of that, and we don't want to split a planet that's been around for ages. We don't want to do that. So there's always a risk with all these, and people have been saying like you can't really do that. So I'm trying to figure out how he can do it, how we could settle Mars, terraform it by Elon Musk's definition of terraform. How we can settle Mars.
See, the thing is, I'm at least with Mars somewhat. I'm fairly certain that there's enough nitrogen in Mars's like ground to where you could maybe grow something. And also the fact is that Mars is a fair bit bigger than our moon, so mining on Mars would be like less impacting than it would be on our moon.
And from what we were talking about earlier this week, it was about like we can make Mars literally where all like the bad stuff goes down. I mean, let's just say someone wants to declare
we
war.
will have actual Mad Max on Mars.
Yeah, seriously. What like the proposal is that we were talking about this week was you can use Mars as like your like battlefield. That way we can keep Earth to its natural beauty. If we have a problem, like if one country has an issue with another, you go to that planet and you fight it out. You fight on Mars. You pretty much duke it out on Mars, and
essentially Mars will become an industrial planet while Earth goes back to be more of an agricultural and farming planet.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be more of a definitely to keep its more rugged environment. Definitely to keep the national parks all around the world, the park system, and other natural environments to be, just keep them all nice and safe for everybody to enjoy throughout the rest of humanity's existence.
And do you want to get in on how apparently he's also making us a personal rocket that can get us around the Earth really fast?
Yes, the BFR, otherwise known as the Big Fucking Rocket. It is
so original.
Yeah. I mean, Elon Musk has a sense of humor, but I think he played Doom a little too much.
So, I mean, physics aside, how do you think that we are possibly going to have this rocket work out to where we can get from, let's say, California to Tokyo in about a half an hour, just over,
or even better, from Texas to London in about an hour? I don't know how he's doing this, but it's supposed to be that it's kind of like the beginning of space flight. I mean, Uber, not space flight, but flying cars and all that. I mean, Uber itself is also talking about they're investing heavily into flying cars. That way they can kind of corner that market for like everybody's their own like personal pilot. Because self-driving cars. Self-driving cars are coming soon, and
basically personal trains.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You basically like just imagine this: you wake up, and you get ready, of course, and then on your way to work, you can go back into your car. The car knows where to go, and then you just go back to sleep, and then it will wake you up when you're there, and then you go into work. I think that's a neat concept.
Future.
Yeah, seriously.
But, yeah, I don't know. And also he wants to make it apparently like affordable as like a regular plane ticket.
Yeah.
Too. He's like targeting this towards like, I don't know, upper mid class people.
Yeah. But eventually, everybody's going to have their own little flying car if this works out. And then it's going to be literally the ground cars again, all over again. So we're going to create that, and then there's going to be Uber for that, and then there's going to be self-driving planes, which already exist.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this thing called the autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really interesting.
I'm just gonna love reading a pamphlet on the health risks of going on one of those rockets to take a trip.
Oh, the G's will alone. Oh my god,
It's gonna be one hell of a feeling, dude.
You know, we were talking about this earlier this week about the flat
What happens if you need to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, seriously. Like, I mean, I've only taken a plane maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, and
Scary shit.
it's not necessarily like, let's say if I wanted to use the restroom and we're taking off, I'd have to wait until we're steadily in the air without any turbulence before I can go use the restroom.
Yep. Otherwise, you fall.
Yeah, and you just like, and then you look like you're learning how to walk again.
Yep.
But seriously, that's really a really interesting development in technology, and the BFR, even though it does not have a propulsion system yet that can take it to Mars, they are talking about it, and if they do it, it defies all the physics we know today.
All the physics.
All the physics.
I'm sure I'll figure it out. If
I'm
not, we get to say he's wrong.
2024 is not that far away. That's what? 7
years.
And we're almost in 2018, so it's almost 6 years.
Dude, we'll be 28.
Oh god, it's gonna suck.
God, we'll almost be in our 30s by the time we can go to Mars.
But that's still a decent amount of life left. That's only like, what, a third of life?
How long does it take to get to Mars from
6 months.
Fuck.
And that's on a typical, like, shuttle. 6 months.
Yep.
That's not that long. You just chill, you have enough food.
That's pretty long.
Oh, no, but we're also talking about, that's not the BFR. The BFR wants to shorten that down to maybe 3, maybe 2 months. 2 to 3 months. It's going to be intense.
God, in a rocket.
Oh, yeah. One rocket.
They ever tell you how they do space training? They lock you in a tight room, see how you do in tight spaces for a long period of time.
I never knew that.
Make sure you don't go. Yeah, that's what they do in part of the training for astronauts, is that they want to make sure you can handle yourself being in a tight space, because all you are in when you're in space is a fucking rocket. You can only go out sometimes.
But the cargo space on the 740 on the BFR, it can fit a full 747, a Boeing 747 jet, or airline.
Yeah, Justice, I'll give this one to you, considering you've only flown maybe like once or twice. If you ever been on an international flight, you get very, very antsy being on a plane for that long, and that's about maybe 11 to 14 hours. You get extremely antsy.
Yeah.
Especially if something goes wrong to where like it starts getting warm, people get really like angry easily.
Oh yeah, because people don't want to have to deal with that, and I understand that. But the main issue would be, of course, is whether or not this plane, I mean not plane, but this rocket can make it, and that's the main problem. But you know what? I volunteer to go up on the first flight if they have Wi-Fi.
I was about to say, we need to answer the main question towards this, Justice. Mars or no on the first flight? And remember, there is no Dr. Pepper on this flight.
I am staying on Earth if there's no Dr. Pepper. There better be internet, there better be a limitless supply of Dr. Pepper, and I better have an internet when I get to Mars. I want to
You're gonna have dial-up connection, dude.
Oh god, dial-up, we're back to the 80s and 90s.
Yep. Mars internet. Fucking dial-up.
Awful internet is what it is, actually. But speaking of awful things, Joe, the $1,000 iPhone.
The cheapest
That's
iPhone is $1,000.
All right, your opinions on iPhone 8, the iPhone X, otherwise known as the iPhone 10, according to Apple?
If they wanted to call it the iPhone 10, you can give it the number 10, not the Roman numeral.
Seriously. And then
I mean,
Samsung...
they call it the Xbox One X. They don't call it the Xbox 110, although that would be even more hilarious.
That would be pretty retarded on the edge of Microsoft. But I wouldn't put it past Microsoft. They've been doing quite a bit of goofy things lately.
Yeah.
But your take on the iPhones, we'll go with that because I am definitely I own a Samsung. I'm about 3 generations.
Are you an Android fanboy?
Can my phone make a call? That's all I care about. That's apparently all I care about.
I think it is more important to realize that phones, they're generally not phones anymore. They're not just, hey, let me use this thing to communicate with another human real quick. Yeah. These things are basically, in all the right sense, pocket computers. These things are literally computers that fit in our pockets now. They can do so much shit. They can play video. They can record video. They make calls. They make appointments. They schedule your fucking life. They apparently read your heart.
They read the heart?
I've lived...
I am part of the generation... We're part of the generation that is going to have to live with this technology for the rest of our lives. And it'll only get better. And I didn't even know. And
the new Samsung Galaxy S8 that came out, it has a heart rate sensor that you put your finger on.
That's
it's right next to the camera though, so everyone kind of hates it being there.
That's so crazy though, having.
But I mean, dude, the Apple Watch reads your heart.
Well, yeah, the Fitbits do that too. I mean, they just that's not necessarily a big deal though, considering you're putting it around your left wrist, and when you count your pulse, you put your hand on it and you just count your heartbeat.
But did you know you also have like a pretty significant pulse on your pointer finger?
Yeah,
that's why they tell you not. That's why they tell you not to take someone's pulse with your 2 first fingers, because you can get a wrong pulse reading.
Yeah, you use the middle and I think the ring.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, back to the iPhone. I don't think Apple can really justify charging the cheapest iPhone X to be $1,000. I mean, I definitely see why, because of the costs and everything, but it does have a good screen and everything. They implemented a lot of technology to the Face ID, which I'm sure a lot of people who have half a brain are like, this is kind of weird that you're pushing this, dude.
It is, and there was not too long ago, there was a shooter, and they were going to go into this guy's iPhone, and they wanted to go inside of his iPhone and check to see what was going on, and this is just kind of like pushing that boundary. And I don't think that I honestly, I'm kind of sketched out by that, and it doesn't influence my decision at all to buy an iPhone. It's just me. I like Samsung. Can the phone make the call? That's what I care about solely.
But I mean, I don't really see why it has to be the whole face. I mean, Samsung has implemented their iris scanners, which is just your eyes.
That is so what?
Yeah, it scans
just
your
the
eyes.
eye.
Yeah,
biometrics are getting so good on phones.
Oh hell yeah, dude! But apparently they do have a patent so that they can implement the Touch ID underneath the screen, but they sadly weren't able to put it in due to the deadline of the iPhone coming out. But apparently they're pushing Face ID now to be like the next step in unlocking your phone and everything. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not in the next iPhone they scrap the whole fingerprint reader through the screen, or whether or not they'll just implement it in. But you can essentially get everything that is in the iPhone and somewhat better by getting the S8, which costs at least $200 less.
I was looking at a few memes about, and of course, Joe, when do I not look at memes?
Facebook loves you for looking at their memes, dude. You're probably the sole person keeping Facebook shares at like an all-time high.
I probably am. Like, you know, it's pretty sad though. I should probably get on that Reddit bandwagon as fast as possible.
2006 called they want MySpace back. Justice.
Did I happen to tell you that I enjoyed MySpace? What? I enjoyed MySpace quite a lot, actually.
MySpace was meh for me.
Well, the idea of customizing your own wall, unlike it is in Facebook, it's more streamlined. There's a lot of plugins that you can put. You can embed stuff, and MySpace had all that cool stuff. But I was kind of late on the Facebook bandwagon as well. I got on when Farmville was the top-notch thing to do on Facebook.
Fucking Farmville, dude. I played that game for like a day, and I was like, nah, dude. This ain't me.
Can I go back to that Xbox 360 days and just play Call of Duty?
Dude, that was what the shit was.
Yes. Battlefield, Bad Company, those were the days.
Bad Company, too.
Oh, Bad Company as well. Both of them. So now.
So Justice, when you get a new phone.
Let me go back to my memes again. But I was looking at
memes.
Yes, I was looking at one of the memes, and it said that if you were to count the entire cost of the Halo series, it would be around $800, and the $1,000 iPhone. I can get the entire Halo series with all like their DLCs and everything for around $800, and still not make it to what the total cost of an iPhone is.
I think someone also made the comparison of like an iPhone versus like, I don't know, they like showed like a plate of cookies times something. It was like a fuck ton of cookies, and it said make the right choice.
A metric fuck ton of cookies.
Yeah. And I mean, with them also releasing the iPhone 8, it's literally just the same thing, except now it can wirelessly charge. That's it. It's also apparently got the fast chip, but I mean, unless you're like a snob or something, you're not really gonna notice that.
Yeah. So we've talked about the iPhone. Let's go on to the Samsung.
Samsung's great, dude. I mean, I'm honestly considering about buying one.
The Samsung
the Note 8. The Note 8 actually has a bit of gripes with some people because you know how the S8 has the regular size and then they have the plus size, just like the iPhones, right?
Yes.
The Samsung S8 Plus has a bigger battery than the biggest Note 8.
So it can hold the charge longer then.
Yes, but the reason why it has a bigger battery is because the Notes commonly have they have the little stylus in there with them.
Yeah.
So you have
Note 5 still has it.
Yeah. So you essentially have a phone that was released after the Samsung S8, but it has less battery, and it costs $1,000, while the S8 Plus costs, I think, around $800 now. You can probably get it for $750, and the S8 costs around $625.
That's
and the only other thing that the Note 8 has is maybe it has a dual camera, which means it takes a lot better pictures. So if you're a picture kind of guy, maybe you want to go with that. It also has some interesting software working around with it. But I mean, unless you're a camera guy or you take a lot of notes on your phone, it's not really worth it, dude.
So the big question, Joe. iPhone 8 or iPhone 10 or X, I don't know, iPhone 8 or X, pick one, versus the Samsung Note 8. What's your pick?
I mean, that's a tough pick. Obviously, the 8 goes out because it's trash, dude. The only reason why I would buy the 8 is so that I don't have to buy the Note or the iPhone X, mainly because I don't want to spend $1,000.
Well, that's right now. That price will probably go down quite a bit.
I mean, it'll only go down
mark down.
once the new models come out. They don't
True.
really, the iPhone prices really don't go down that
And
much.
how often does an iPhone come out?
Every
new
year.
iPhone model? Okay, so we'll
Every
have
year.
to wait until around this time again in 2018.
Yep.
All right. Now, for me, I'm always going to stick with Samsung, so that's my pick.
So, what would be yours? S8, S8 Plus, or Note series?
The Note series. I enjoyed
You're
my
gonna go
Note
with the
quite a
Note?
bit.
You're gonna drop $1,000?
Well, you see.
You gotta take them dank photos?
I don't know, Joe. See, my thoughts are, I enjoy my Note 5, and until my Note 5 falls apart, I'm just gonna chill with it. And this is a nice phone. I've enjoyed it. I've dropped it quite a lot, and it still holds its form. So I'm quite happy with how my phone performs. I've dropped it from high distances. And
It
still
has not combusted.
It has
You
not
must also note
combusted.
that.
Yeah, wasn't this series the one that actually was like a frag grenade you can just throw?
7.
Oh, the 7.
Note 7.
Okay, good.
Note
Okay,
7
good.
was the one.
This one works perfectly fine. Even though I think it was the 5 that if you put it under something, it would overheat and it would catch fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the fun one about the 5. But it was a wonderful phone. I will stick with the Samsung Note 8. Simply.
So I am gonna have to ask a favor, Justice. Since I plugged in new headphones, apparently the audio on your side wasn't being picked up for about 48 minutes.
That's funny.
So I'm gonna have to rip some of the audio from you.
Oh, okay, that's completely fine.
My mic is still my mic was still talking the entire time. It's just that no one could hear you.
No, that's fine. Remember, I also kind of dipped out for a few moments because of technical difficulties. So,
Yep.
feel free to rip the podcast. But I think it is time to go at the top of the bottom of hour 1, the national anthem protests.
Oh boy.
It is time to discuss them.
All right,
Joe, you will start this off because I know you are kind of dying to talk about this.
I mean, not really. You're the one who picked this topic. First of all,
I didn't
suggest this at all. You just want your whole sports thing, but then you put this on here. So we're getting that cleared out. But I will talk about it.
Of course. But I enjoy sports. So, and I know you don't really give a crap about them. So the reason why I chose this topic was because we're going to be talking about football between now and the bottom of the top of hour 2. So this story came from last week's game. It was on the first London game where the Jags and the Ravens both knelt for the anthem in London. And your opinion on this? I'm curious to hear.
So I don't want this to come across the fact that I'm for the players and that I'm against the flag or the national anthem. I'm against America, but
America.
I mean, you gotta go with America.
America. Fuck yeah.
But I don't think people should be chastising the players for doing this. Yes, our flag holds a lot of meaning, but at the same time, you shouldn't burden that meaning on others, because that in itself defies what the flag stands for. You do not oppress someone just because their views on it are different than yours.
I agree.
And
no, continue.
I don't think the players intentionally have it so that they mock every serviceman that has died or fought for our country. I don't think they mean to disrespect that this is a great nation and that we are free to have our independent thoughts. But, and even there have been examples where people do it before the actual anthem. But the thing is, they do have an actual purpose for this, to show that there is some form of racial divide. The fact that our justice system is very much unfair towards certain races other than white people. And I mean, if you want to get someone's attention, this is how you would do it. And I think it is kind of weird how some people, and especially some news outlets, are spinning it off to be where they're protesting against servicemen and everything. I think that's a bit of a cheap shot, considering there are many servicemen who agree with the player's point of view. There are also other people who are also other servicemen who are very insulted by this, but hey, everyone's got their own separate opinion. I personally feel as though they shouldn't be chastised for it, but at the same time, what they do is very controversial, and I couldn't say that it's 100% right.
All right, it's a very fair point of view. For me, I'm gonna have to say I kind of am pretty much dead in the middle between this discussion, this debate that is going on, simply because I disagree with the platform that they're using to make this argument, and I would say that there's certain things that are happening that are not making this easier. Like, it was dying down, it was going away, but the President Trump had to kind of like stoke the flames. Instead of saying, you know what, fire that son of a bitch, why not just say, you know what, instead of spending your time, it's kind of like this virtue signaling crap. I don't want that type of stuff to go on. If you're going to do something, then if you're going to boycott something, at least use that time to go actually kind of defend what you believe.
Yeah, with the example of the guy who first did it, and the fact that he also didn't vote.
Yeah, that I would say, not necessarily. It's for both sides on this one. If you're going to bring up divisions in the country, not bring up like racial divisions and such like that, at least try to make it better. Try to be that arbiter that tries to say, okay, well, this kind of be the person that you're making millions of dollars. You have the means to go out and help those communities that are being targeted. You can help those people. And then on the other side, for the people who are planning on boycotting the NFL, and another podcast I watch, why not spend that time that you're going to boycott the NFL, instead of boycotting the NFL outright
and burning your tickets,
after you've already retarded. That's retarded. Instead of doing that, how about you put your money where your mouth is and actually go volunteer at the VA shelter?
Personally, it doesn't matter to me, because I could just go to NFL tickets I can get NFL tickets probably cheaper now.
Well, yeah, true for you, but I'm just pointing out that why don't these people who are, and both sides infuriate me to the point of no end. Why don't the people who are upset at those people for protesting, which is their right, and if the owners don't care, if the coaches don't care, and the staff don't care, if the front office does not care what they do, then what's the issue with them? There's none. Even though I wish that they didn't use their platform for that reason. I don't agree with it, but it is their right. But for the people on the other side burning their tickets and everything like that, you can't.
Darwin Award.
True. But seriously, you cannot, and I cannot stress this enough, you cannot go out and say, I'm going to boycott the NFL, get all pissy, and not do anything to help the people you are trying so vehemently to defend.
And then also watching another NFL game on TV.
Seriously. It is literally, you can't do that. You have to actually do something if you're going to protest. You have to try to make the situation better. So in my personal opinion, if you're going to try to make the situation better and you actually believe in the veterans and all that, why don't you go to a VA hospital and volunteer time? Why don't you go donate your money to the VA? Why don't you go, the Wounded Warriors are definitely a place that you can go donate your money to. You can do all this stuff, but you are complaining about and bitching about something that is an inanimate object, and you're just saying praise Skycloth all day long.
Praise Skycloth.
And seriously,
that is a new one.
And you're putting the people who are about the flag. You and I have a difference of opinion on what the military fights for. I don't necessarily believe the flag is the reason why they fight for is the reason they fight for. I believe they fight for your rights. They fight for
the country that is represented by the flag, that is symbolized by it,
and that is what it is, a symbol. But what is actually tangible are your rights and those freedoms that we hold dear. Those are the ones that I would say that they're defending. But to close out
they kneel, hold a sign. I don't respect the First Amendment.
Yeah, it's kind of like this. It's this cognitive dissonance that is absolutely atrocious in this debate.
Well, I mean, dude, to be on a devil's advocate, what are you?
Devil's advocate, you're always a devil's advocate.
What are you told to do every single fucking day in class when the first bell rings?
Would you like to do? We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
You stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. That was what we did in our school every single morning.
And sometimes I would be like, do I really?
And let's face it, not every single person in school is so enthusiastic to say it as well.
I agree. I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm just saying that there's a reason to be patriotic about your country. There's a difference between being patriotic and being nationalistic. And I would say the line that you're gonna that someone draws with being nationalist and a patriot is a patriot will actually say their country is wrong in certain instances, where a nationalist will side with their country.
This is always right.
Regardless
nothing you say is correct.
Like we can go bomb somebody, we can go bomb a hospital in a poor country, and we'd be like, "Yep, that's still the way to go. Way to go, guys!" And I'd be,
"Hi, NSA."
Why do we need to do that? Hi, NSA. Screw you.
Hey, man, we're live streaming.
True. I mean, they could be watching right now, but I mean, the one viewer that's watching. When...
Hey, NSA, please clap for us.
Please clap. But seriously, it's a debate that is kind of annoying.
No right answer towards it as well.
There's there's a way to do it. It's just how do you go about your protest or your boycott or your stuff like that. You need to figure out you need to take a step back, think of the big picture, and then do it. That is my deal.
Yeah.
But
are you now going to go into your sports talk?
Yes, it's about a quick segment, and then we'll get right back to.
Because I legit actually have to go to the bathroom. Really
go to the bathroom. Go. I got this.
All right, take the floor.
All right, this is my little part of the podcast where we discuss the scores of last week in the NFL. Now, the NFL, I absolutely love. I enjoy it even with everything that's going on right now, as we just heard in the previous segment about the NFL. Now, a quick recap: the Packers 3-1 defeated the Bears in Thursday Night Football. Easy game to pick on that one. Saints 2-2 beat the Dolphins. Nice. Closed them out in London. Was a good match. Texans fired up with 57-14 after the Titans beat my Seahawks. Titans and Texans tied in their I think they're tied in their actually it's a three-way tie in the division, the AFC South, between the Jags, the Texans, and the Titans. Speaking of the Jaguars beat the Jets. The Jets beat the Jaguars 23-20 in an overtime matchup with a knockoff field goal. In the biggest upset of the week, the Panthers are 3-1 after they defeat the Patriots, and the Patriots move to 2-2. Final score being 33-30. The Lions beat the Vikings. Lions are tied in their division, the NFC North, 14-7 between themselves and the Green Bay Packers. Bills and the Falcons. Bills are on a hot streak, 23-17. Falcons lose, and that makes the Falcons go to 3-1. They were undefeated previously on the season before the Bills took the game. Moving on to the Steelers and the Rams. Steelers taking the AFC. I think that's the AFC North. Yeah, that's the North. Steelers and the Ravens. Steelers take 26-9. Ravens are looking at a very slow. Are slowing down quite a lot. 2-2 on the season after a 2-0 start. Bengals and the Browns. Bengals get their first win of the season. 31-7. They defeat the Browns with Andy Dalton doing the heavy lifting in that team. Rams showing some life this season. 35-30 beat the Cowboys and they move 2-2. Eagles beat the Chargers. Chargers are looking at an 0-4 beginning of their season, and they will head to check on that one. They'll be going to another 0-4 team, I believe, and trying to get their first win next week. I think it's the Niners. I could be wrong, though. Eagles 3-1 on the season. Sunday again. We're still on Sunday. Buccaneers take the W in a field goal win again. 2-1 on the season with the Giants 0-4. 49ers losing. They have an 0-4 season, not surprising. It went into overtime, though, and Cardinals took the W with another field goal, 18-15. In overtime, by the way. Raiders, after their hot streak, end up taking the loss against the Broncos, and they are starting to lose it in the AFC West. Raiders and the Broncos. Broncos are 3-1. After this division matchup, the Broncos are the second seed inside of that division. 16-10 was the score. Broncos win. Sunday Night Football. Colts take the L. Seahawks. My Seahawks dominated at the second half of the game, 46-18. Seattle moves to 2-2. Colts to 1-3. Chiefs remain the only undefeated football team after a Monday Night Football win, 29-20. Beat the Redskins. Redskins moved to 2-2. Chiefs are the only team 4-0. All right, and that's it for the scores. I am going to switch over to the next segment, which is my predictions for this next week of football. Now, many will say that this is going to be kind of another weird week in football. I would have to say it's going to be kind of streamlined. We have our first four teams on bye week: Broncos, Falcons, Redskins, Saints. But for the first game of the week, which is tonight, Patriots and the Buccaneers. Everything in me says the Patriots. The Patriots will not lose to the Bucs. Bucs will move to 2-2. Patriots will move to 3-2. For the Sunday games, we're going to start with the NFC because that's my conference, and I enjoy that conference a lot. I have faith the Packers will take the W, beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will lose at home in Arlington. Eagles will take the win at home against the Cardinals. Cardinals not looking like themselves lately, so let's go with the Eagles on that. Panthers and the Lions. Panthers are on a hot streak, but same are the Lions, and Lions are at home. But I have to go with Cam Newton on this one, and they'll take the W there.
I am very relieved.
You're relieved because you went to the restroom?
Yes.
Or because the Panthers are winning?
Restroom.
Okay. Seattle versus the Rams. They'll be facing the Rams down in LA on October 8th. This game, every fiber of my being says Seattle. Every fiber of my being, because I am a Seattle fan. I am just going to say Seattle. I'm just going to say Seattle will take the W here. The Rams will move to 3-2, and it'll be a tie for the
W
West.
in a Super Bowl.
They took the W against the Broncos, 46-8, in 2013. Not against the Patriots, though. 49ers versus the Colts. This is a weird matchup for me because I think the Colts will win, but I also have faith that the 49ers will also get their first win of the season. Bills and the Chargers and the Giants. I thought that was a Sunday night game. But 0-4 teams right here, Chargers, Giants. Giants will take the win here. I have a feeling Eli will wake up and take the W. Now for the AFC. Bills and Bengals. Bills is an easy one to pick. Jets is an easy one to pick. Titans versus the Dolphins are an easy one to pick. Raiders are an easy one to pick. Jags versus the Steelers. Steelers will take the W. And Chiefs versus the Texans. Chiefs will beat the Texans, and the Chiefs will move to 5-0 on the season. For Monday Night Football, it's Vikings versus the Bears, and I believe the Vikings will take another win in Monday Night Football. Those are my predictions. These are what your teams will look like. Hopefully, if I am correct, that's what will end up in the end of the week.
And will that be followed up in next week's podcast?
Of course, we are always going to be talking about at the
football
at the bottom of every hour and a little bit into the top of the second hour. At the bottom of the first hour and the top of the second hour, we'll be talking about football. Football. And it'll be pretty much the same layout as we did today. There'll always be a story about sports, and we'll catch on, and we'll talk about the scores, and we'll see how we did on the predictions. And if you want to take a screenshot of this and see if I'm right. All right, Joe. Are you ready to talk about movies?
Oh, boy. Are we starting in this order that you PM'd me?
I believe we're going to start with
first?
Kingsman.
Yes.
We're starting with Kingsman.
All right.
And the box office, actually. So,
okay.
Now, the weekend box office. If the weekend box office last week was kind of interesting, I would say. Not surprising. I mean, Kingsman, and for a second week in a row, dethroned the movie It by only $30,000, though.
Otherwise known as Clown Fuckery 2.0.
True. The total gross of it was about $66,000. 66 million, not 66,000. 66 million, whereas the movie It made around 290 million in its 4-week debut. But the order of the box office, Kingsman takes number one with a $16.9 million weekend gross. It in second place with a $16.9 million weekend gross. American Made making its debut pretty high in third place, though. $16.7 million. Universal Studios put that movie out. Now, a Lego movie, which I don't know why they make these things.
Because kids love them. And they keep making them money.
True. And apparently, last week, I think this is its second week debut. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's second week debut. It came in number 4. Lego Ninjago. Ninjago. There we go. Ninjago movie by Warner Brothers grossed $11.6 million in its second week.
I mean, when you think about it like this, Justice, not only do the kids go and see this movie, but their parents have to go with them and buy a ticket as well.
True. So it's a double. It's
You're guaranteed to double your profits if the kid alone likes the movie.
Aren't you terrified to have a kid to go see these movies?
I mean, not really.
Do you like these types of movies?
I don't mind, but dude, obviously I wouldn't even go to the theater, remember?
Oh, true. You just pirate that. Not pirate. It's not against the law. If somebody else is doing it, they're just live streaming it.
Yep.
Flatliners 2017. It makes its debut, Sony movie, by the way, at $6.5 million. I don't know what that movie's about. Battle of the Sexes, Fox One is $3.4 million. I don't know, how many weeks has this been out? Sure. Battle of the Sexes is in its second week, and it's already fallen from. Actually, it did pretty well. It was in 16th place last week, and now it's number 6. American Assassin is in 7th place this week, grossing $3.3 million, but that movie's been out for 3 weeks now. Home Again takes 8th place, $1.7 million total gross. Till Death Do Us Part, $1.5 million total gross, and Mother is $1.4 million gross. And
I
that
see
was
some of these are highlighted. What do the highlights mean?
highlights. Let me give that a check. Oh, it wasn't full screen that entire time? Check that out.
It's got to do F11, dude.
What does the highlight mean?
I mean, I see that all of them are in the category N for LW.
Oh,
Last weekend.
does
it mean like new?
It's new, yeah. That's what it means.
Okay.
It's a new movie that just debuted.
Alrighty.
It's in its first week, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but we have a few trailers that we want to share. And Joe, you have not seen the movie Kingsman yet.
I have not. I was actually gonna see it, but the IMAX showing of it was at 3 today, and so
We're in the middle of this podcast.
Yep. So I missed a IMAX showing to do a podcast that talks about this movie.
I mean,
I'm
that's
smart.
how much you love this. I mean,
Yeah.
well.
So anyway, we have the trailer.
We have the trailer, and we're gonna go to that right now.
Oops.
We're from the Kingsman Tailor's shop in London. Maybe you've heard of us?
Today marks the beginning of a new age. Wait, I'm gonna show you.
All the beer.
Say goodbye to the Kingsman.
Kind of got a bit of a save the world situation here.
Welcome to Statesman.
As your American cousins, we'll be working side by side.
Let's get started.
We've got brains, skills, skipping rope.
Also,
Whatever. It's very American.
Yeah, it is.
manners maketh man.
Do you know what that means?
All right, that was
Really need to see that movie.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right, since I was the only one that has actually seen the movie, let me
And
talk
that
about
I don't
it.
necessarily care about spoilers, just so everyone knows.
It was a great. All those scenes are amazing. Everything, the cinematography, everything about those scenes, the choreography when it came to the fight scenes was awesome. Some of the humor was great. It was a great movie overall, and I would have to say, definitely would. I've seen it 4 times. Definitely would see again.
He has spent a lot of money, people.
I like the movies. Okay, I used to work at a movie theater. But we have actually 2 more trailers for you. One coming out this coming weekend. Actually comes out tonight.
It's already out.
Yeah, it comes out tonight on October 5th, which is tonight, and it'll start their premieres at around 7 p.m. Your local time. So this is Blade Runner 2049. Heard this movie is going to be pretty good. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh,
Fucking Atari.
yeah, seriously.
Every civilization was built off the back of a disposable workforce. But I can only make so many. Happy birthday.
There isn't
an order to things. That's what we do here. We keep order. The world is built on a wall that separates kind. Tell either side there's no wall.
Why don't we have
You bought a war.
holographic advertisements still?
Seriously. Have you ever seen that movie Total Recall?
Yes.
Great
I did
movie.
your job once.
Inspired the
I
tribe.
was good at it.
I know.
What do you want?
I want to ask you some questions.
The key to the future is finally unearthed. Bring it to me. They know you're here.
I always told you, you're special. Your story isn't over yet. There's still a page left.
Bethel.
Also a movie I do need to see. Now, I'll let
It was really
everyone-
good, right?
Yeah, I'll let everyone in the audience know I have not seen the original. However, I did get a basic gist of it through CinemaSins earlier today. Do you know what the original plot is about?
No, I do not. I have not seen the originals either.
The original plot about it is that they're essentially that there's AI that have also like been built into as androids, and there's the detective which Harrison Ford plays, and he's trying to find one of them. That's the basic knowledge that I've gotten to it, and there is a subplot on whether or not Harrison Ford himself is also an android as well.
That kind of reminds me of like the plot of Fallout 4 a bit. Like seriously, like what the fuck's going on? But seriously, I actually want to see that movie. That actually looked pretty intense. I'd have to watch the trilogy here. There's a couple movies of Blade Runner.
Speaking of seeing the originals, did you see the original Deadpool movie?
I did actually, and it was one of those are another. See, when I watch a movie and I enjoy the movie, I'll go and see it more than one time. I think I saw
throw the dollars, as Fry would say.
Shut up and take my money, movie producers. Shut up and take my money.
And also give that money and put it more into the production.
Oh yeah, I mean, Deadpool 2.
Talking to you, Fox.
Yeah, seriously. By the way, let's go quickly going back to Blade Runner. Blade Runner does come out tonight on October 5th. You can see it tonight at 7 p.m. for their midnight premieres, or you can wait till tomorrow like a scrub and watch it tomorrow.
And also miss out on getting probably a pretty dope poster.
Not to mention a pretty decent seat too. I mean, seriously, no one wants to go to the movie theater on a Thursday night when the movie's premiering. So
I mean,
whatever.
you basically pre-order seats nowadays. So
true. But the next movie that's coming out is one of the movies that I generally enjoyed.
So good.
It was super good. He actually dethroned my top Marvel superhero from Captain America / Iron Man to an easy pick between easy pick on Deadpool.
Hashtag baby hand.
Oh yeah. The blind black woman was amazing.
Yep.
I don't know her name. I
can't remember her either.
But it was a great one. We have the trailer for Deadpool 2. It's a teaser, but it's actually a pretty long teaser trailer. So,
yep.
We'll gonna put that on right meow. Ah, there we go. Here you go.
I love their music choice in these movies.
Nothing from me, young man. I've worked
Oh,
too hard
yeah.
in this life to let someone. You want to end up dead?
Not that avocado head still.
Not on my watch, motherfucker.
Hate fuck avocado sex.
I'm not going to give you anything. Don't help your man. You pull the trigger. You do not set your hold there. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You like that? No, you like kicking on an older man, do you? No.
All the ladies who wanted to see not Ryan Gosling,
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, striptease. There you go. Bare butt.
Oh, this is comical. Nathan Summers coming soon.
Oh shit! I didn't notice that they had Logan on the movie thing.
Where? Oh yeah, Logan right there.
I didn't notice that.
Okay. No, just tell him Wade called. Thank you.
He's on the phone.
Okay.
Wow!
Nice
Slow-mo.
suit. Zip it, Stanley.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's not good. No, no, no. Oh, you're not going to walk that one off. Oh, that's so gross. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I spent way too long in the phone booth. If I'm being honest with myself, I probably should have just called 911.
Well, none of that matters now. Because I think you're both missing the real point here.
The fuck is a phone booth doing on a street corner? Those disappear in 98? Suppose I could have just used my cell.
Not gonna lie, I've never been in a phone booth.
And Cherry Garcia ice cream. You gonna eat this? Don't answer now. Just rest.
Cherry Garcia ice cream.
I mean, actually, I made a call. It was to the costumer. His name is Larry. He usually helps me put the suit on.
I don't know how the other guys do it so quickly. Well, you probably wouldn't be dead if it was Logan. What does he got to change into? Guy wears a fucking tank top and a pair of jeans. Yeah, like to get my tank top on, bit of perspiration, have a nice little
God.
spree, yeah.
Great.
Happy hugger call a day.
Oh my god. Oh, it's too good.
So, that was pretty good.
Ryan Reynolds is a god.
Amongst the men, yes, he is.
So apparently they're going to be bringing what's his face into it. He said at the end credits they're going to bring back, what was his name? It's the guy who travels through time.
Cable?
Yeah, they're bringing Cable in.
Yeah,
apparently. They're going to try and bring Cable in.
I mean, wouldn't be surprised. I'd enjoy it. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy Deadpool 2 regardless.
Yep.
But
Are you gonna throw money at it?
Shut up and take my money, Marvel. Shut up and take my money. However, this movie does not come out until 2018, and every week we'll try to give you. Every week on this podcast, we'll try to give you one of the movies that are coming out this year, and then one movie that's coming out next year. That way we kind of give you a hope that something better is on the horizon. And we'll always try to make sure that that movie from 2018 is better than whatever trailer that we just watched. But both of the trailers, I mean, I think all three of the trailers you want to see. All of them.
Yep. Pretty much.
Pretty much
I need to see the original Blade Runner first, though.
Oh, same. I would have to watch the trilogy.
I don't think it's a trilogy. I think it's
there's a saga.
Yeah, there is a saga, but the other one's kind of like not an official movie though.
Yeah, okay, never mind. One of them is
it's like a mini movie or something. It's like either that or a mini series. It might be a book.
Possibly.
I know there is a book detailing the time between them.
Yes. However, the Deadpool one is the one I'm actually really psyched for, but that doesn't come out until about June of 2018.
Do you think Logan will make an appearance out of pure fandom? Because the guy is technically done playing Wolverine. That was his last movie.
Isn't Wolverine dead in Logan? Spoilers.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, he dies.
I haven't seen.
Is allegedly
Logan,
dead.
I haven't seen Logan yet, though. So.
Yeah.
That's another movie. I mean.
However, that is technically with what they've done. There's different timelines in the X-Men universe. So technically, Logan dies in like the original universe that there was before everything got alternatively split.
It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine, his next movie is kind of about the circus.
Is it?
Yes.
Hmm.
I don't remember.
Honestly, Hugh Jackman's fucking workout routine.
Oh,
you can take lessons from that.
Definitely. And you know what else we could take lessons from? We could take lessons from other possible great movies, such as Lord of the Rings. Have you heard of the Lord of the Rings? Have we heard of the Lord of the Rings franchise of video games that takes place right before the actual Lord of the Rings events?
Yeah, it's just a shame that it was never really mentioned in the backstory of the original movies. How do darndest thing, ain't?
It's right between Hobbit and Middle Earth and the Lord of the Rings series. So there's
there's barely any reference to it.
There's none until now. Until a couple of years ago when Warner Brothers said, you know what we should do? We should create an awesome video game named Shadow of Mordor. And there you can assume the role of basically how Gondor fell, and it was or how Gondor lost their ground. And it was a very great game. I enjoyed it. I play it still. It was a very great game.
A lot of people have the arguments that it didn't have much to do, that it was very repetitive.
It was. The stories.
It was somewhat like they said it was somewhat on the par of Assassin's Creed's like formula.
It definitely felt like Assassin's Creed. I can attest to that. But I have the new trailer of Shadow of War, and it's their story trailer. And the cool thing is, this is an official 4K.
Fancy.
And Joe, we all know how much you like 4K. I
don't really like 4K that much. I don't have anything that plays with 4K.
Oh, sad face. But here's the Shadow of War trailer. No, it's different now, but all right.
How much are you willing to sacrifice? To suffer?
I have given up everything.
Not everything.
My lord, we have located the new ring. Send the Nazgûl. All of them.
I know what you fear, Tony. The ring can enslave the minds of men. We must hold to our purpose, no matter what the cost.
I will not let them be slaughtered like my brothers at the Black Gate.
We need to build our army.
This is just the beginning.
Sauron will not stop until all of Middle-earth is dominated.
We do not serve the Dark Lord! We will You fight for the bright Lord!
What new devilry is this?
I come for you, Town of Gondor.
Try not to kill him too quickly. The new ring. Our ring. Is not marred with his shadow. It is perfect.
I struck down men corrupted by these rings. Do not become one of them.
When the time comes, I will do what is needed.
Submit to your destiny. Run to your master and give him this message. I come for him.
Pre-order bonus. Don't forget about the pre-orders. We want you to pre-order shit.
We need you to pre-order. Now.
So apparently, like what I've seen from the other trailers of it is that the guys are able to form their own ring of power, which enables them to somewhat be separated for a little bit.
Apparently, I have very little. All I know is that the game has changed a bit, and I think it changed for the better. From what the trailers have been saying, you get the ability, like, if you let an orc live, they'll kind of remember that, and nothing will be forgotten, and that's what they're trying to go for. It'll be interesting to see how this game turns out. That game actually comes out next week on the 10th, 10/10/2017.
You getting it for PC?
I got it for Xbox Live. I got it for Xbox. But I'll tell you a game that I got for both Xbox and PC. Can you guess what that is?
I can only guess it. South Park?
I love South Park. Thank you for letting me know. South Park is one of my favorite TV shows. Not to mention is also one of my favorite. South Park: The Stick of Truth was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed every second of it.
You've actually been recently streaming it too.
And I have been streaming it because I want to get prepared for what comes out in 12 days. The South Park: The Stick of Truth is free for those who pre-order The Fractured But Whole. And we actually have the trailer for The Fractured But Whole, and here it is.
But the main take of it, pre-order this shit.
Yes.
We all started as one team. We all wanted to be superheroes for the same reason. You're a traitor, Tweak, and now you're with a group of super traitors.
This was started by you.
We aren't the ones who walked out of the fucking franchise, Mysterion! Why would the Freedom Pals help us? We send a spy, someone in our group who pretends to want to switch sides and join Freedom Pals. Somebody who they don't know very well. All is fair in love and war, Freedom Pussies.
You fucking animal.
You've got problems, new kid. Whatever you did last night got a lot of people's attention. Bad people. If you need information, just know you can rely on Call Girl.
Who the fuck is that? So I guess now any fucking asshole thinks they can be a superhero.
We're gonna rip you apart.
Dude, Mysterion is pissed at you, new kid. Hello, Toolshed.
Toolshed is a Gadgeteer class visionary archetype.
And a butt-fucking traitor.
Is that Mecha Strider?
Eric, you must listen to me.
Yeah, my head, Timmy.
Your franchise is going nowhere. Face the truth, Eric. You guys are kind of douchebags.
He just called us douchebags, in my mind.
He did?
South Park, the fractured butthole.
Available October 17th. Get the Stick of Truth free with purchase. Pre-order now for Towley bonus content.
Don't forget to bring it to
Pre-order.
Remember, pre-order and we'll give you all the DLC.
You know, even though the DLC should be free in the general. Unless it's actual game-changing stuff.
Now, what is your opinion on that?
What do you mean?
What is your opinion on that game? Does it look good or
looks good? It's not a game that it's not a game that I would play, but I can appreciate it though because I've watched my fair share of South Park.
Oh, and this is the first game that PC Principal makes his debut, so it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember that little clip.
I love it.
So there was another question I had for this. I just now forgot it. Shoot. Continue with what you were gonna say. I'll probably remember it a bit.
But that game, by the way, comes out. The Fractured Butthole comes out on October 17th of this year. It will probably the pre-order. Supposedly, the pre-order content is going to be actually a lot. There's going to be multiple more hours of gameplay that's going to be added. And supposedly the entire turn-based system they kept, but they wanted to make it more environmental. Yeah, they made it much more flexible. And you can actually get penalized for what you choose. So it's actually going to be interesting. And one other cool thing about the Fractured Butthole that I found hilarious, and it was kind of like this funny little... and I think a genius creation was their difficulty system is based on the color of your skin. Whereas if you're a white person, it is extremely easy in the game. Whereas the darker your skin color becomes, the more difficult the game gets. And it's actually, I thought it was a genius concept to use that to make your difficulty slider basically your skin color. I thought it was a genius concept in its execution.
I just remember what I was going to say. It's kind of interesting that they came up with this the whole plot concept with about the superheroes and whatnot. That was like during the craze release about all of DC and also Marvel coming out with their big budget movies. But I mean, right now it's kind of slowed down with the Avengers and also Justice League that's getting developed. By the time this comes out, now it's gonna be like, oh yeah, there was that whole thing. I mean, South Park has usually been known to like, there's somewhat a little bit behind the controversial news and everything, but like this one they're almost like a year behind.
Couple years, yeah. Well, last year was actually this year it got pushed back multiple times again, but that was that was how it was supposed to go around. It was supposed to be
targeted.
Yeah, it was supposed to be targeted when Civil War came out, but it's fine though. I ain't worried about it. But there's one thing that we definitely need to get to, and we're gonna be talking Halo. You ready?
The baby of Justice's topic.
And well, this is what you wanted to bring up. We had this date planned out for a while for this podcast. It was just until now we actually had a story to talk about Halo. We were just going to talk about theories for a bit. But Halo has an announcement for those, and it is the Halo Recruit. Now, Halo Recruit is a virtual reality, kind of inputs that virtual reality spin on everything. I don't know how they're going to do it. It just is going to happen.
Apparently, it is locked to the Windows mixed reality because, Microsoft and whatnot.
But I don't know what the game is about. I don't know what it's going to entail.
I wouldn't put it past it to do like what they did with Rick and Morty. Basically, they're just gonna allow you to like take tours around things. That's what I'm assuming.
Just like kind of.
It's like where you can
like take a walk around the ships.
Yeah.
Just take a nice little tour.
That's what I think.
That's interesting, and it actually kind of says it in the name that I would believe it. Theories on Halo 6, and we'll go into other Halo topics in a moment. But Halo
They're gonna
6.
fuck it up.
If you haven't
343 is gonna fuck it up just like they did with the other two games.
I enjoy 343's take, but Joe does not. Joe and I
have my distaste for them. I do love what they did with Halo 5's multiplayer. That was a redeeming quality.
Yes, it was, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a great. You didn't buy it, but you got Halo 5 Forge for PC, and it was
free.
Yeah, but you enjoyed it. You said you did.
I did. It's very enjoyable. However, I have many complaints about it still, but with it being free, there's not much grounds to complain on it for.
You probably would want the entire game free. Like, you want all of Halo 5.
I would be happy to pay for it if they ported it over to PC.
Well, Halo 6 officially confirmed split screen. I don't know if Halo 6 has been officially confirmed for PC.
I bet you it's not officially a split screen on the original Xbox One.
I think Halo 6 will be a PC title, by the way, simply because it's going to be... What's the word I'm looking for here?
Cross-platform?
Simply because, it's an Xbox One Play Anywhere type thing. It'll be on Xbox, it'll be on PC. It would be kind of dumb for Microsoft. They could make a lot of money off of this if they do it the right way.
Not to mention, it is also somewhat becoming a dying market for Halo just to be an exclusive.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about... I mean, Halo 6, it's the end of this trilogy. They're probably going to create other... I think... My theory is this is the one Master Chief... we'll see the last of him. At least as we see him today. There'll probably be periods of time where we'll get Master Chief back, but he'll be much younger. It'll probably be around Reach or way before Reach.
Dude, if they end the story with Chief on this last one, people are probably just never gonna buy another Halo game again.
I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I think the fans have said clearly in Halo 5 that they didn't like Osiris at all. I mean, the only one that was actually
it was just extremely poorly implemented.
Yeah, it was just
a great concept, but it was poorly implemented. Just like how Halo 4's campaign was.
The storytelling is where I am more focused on. I don't really. It's not that I don't care. It's just I don't concentrate on it because if I do, then I'm going to ruin the game for myself. But the story
you could say that about Call of Duty then. That's grounds on to say that Call of Duty is a great game.
And it's not that it isn't a good game. It's the fact that Call of Duty, if we're being honest, is just they never take any time. Even though if anybody knows how the gaming industry works, it doesn't take them a year to do one thing. It takes them multiple years. For an example, they have 3 different companies that work on Call of Duty: Treyarch, Activision, not Activision, but Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer. Activision being the parent company of this. So all of them have like a game that they're already working on in this next cycle. So the next cycle should be if Advanced Warfare was Infinity Ward, then Black Ops 3 was Treyarch, and World War II was Sledge. And the next one will probably start back with Infinity Ward or Treyarch. One of those two.
I think it's Infinity Ward because usually it's been Infinity Ward first, then Treyarch.
And if they were smart, they would go back to Modern Warfare type games. Infinity Ward should be in charge of that.
I mean, honestly, what is the Modern Warfare like in today's standards? Because we do now have things that are somewhat
from Black Ops 2.
Yeah, we have futuristic stuff now. Do we want to do the Modern Warfare how it's depicted today with some kind of drones, or do we want it to where it was like in 2008 or 2006, where it was still somewhat just boots on the ground fighting with just kind of air support and tanks?
I'll ask you this question then. Do you want the games to go back to its roots, kind of like how this game is kind of doing, or do you want the game to continue pushing the boundaries forward?
I appreciate a game that is well thought out but at the same and has its complexities, but at the same time, I do like a game that is simple and has base roots. With my current opinion, I do love what they've done so far that I've experienced in the beta of Call of Duty World War II. And I wouldn't be mad at all if Infinity Ward took the baseline of that game and made something of their own like it, whether it or not it's based on present, future, or past.
You know, there's one era that we don't really even touch, and it's the Vietnam War or the Korean War, and we don't really touch that area.
Bad Company 2 did that.
No, I'm talking about like Call of Duty games.
That's true. Well, we kind of went into the Vietnam era with Black Ops, but it was a small section. I think it's mainly because Vietnam was at the time was still somewhat very close. I mean, you saw how much people lost their shit when COD 4 was released, right? On how like you guys are like making the Afghan war a fun playable experience.
And it really is not. And when the nuclear bomb went off in Afghanistan in Call of Duty 4, it was I can only imagine how it was for the people that were actually in those locations that were around the area, how they felt about it, or the people in Afghanistan playing that game for R&R. And that's kind of ironic. You're in that location, you're using that game for R&R, but you're ending up getting PTSD from it.
Yeah, so I don't know. News outlets have learned their lesson about depicting games as being too realistic and sources of like violence and everything, but I don't know.
It's interesting, and it's kind of like, again, the story structure of Halo and everything like that. That's kind of where we were going with this. It's just it needs to have consistency. It needs to be well thought out, and which
well paced
as well. That's a big one. Consistency, continuity, and pacing are all a big part of a story, and that's what makes movies so good. Is they know that they need to do the same.
Let's face it. Today's movies, though the exception with how movies are coming out in the near future, today's movies have also been sort of slipping in terms of pacing and also what it is that they consider decent cinematography.
Yeah. And certain movies are getting better at that. Certain movies are actually slipping in that. Certain companies... And every major movie studio has stumbled. It's not like, oh, it's great every time. They stumble. And and it happens often, and movie studios tend to learn their lesson. I mean, take a look at any M. Night Shyamalan movie, and you'll be able to tell.
Yep.
And versus like maybe the Kingsman director, you can tell the differences between their type of cinematography and how they work, and you just remember, you don't make it seem like it's always our fault as the viewer, as the person who's paying the money to support your movie. You try to remember, okay, this is a movie that the consumer did not like, so let's try to fix this up and go a different route.
Let's not do this.
Yes, let's not do this. Listen to the consumer. They pay your salary, please.
Yeah, I am still on the strong belief that 343, I don't think they're meaning to fuck up the series. Like, I don't. I think I do genuinely believe they love the series just as much as Bungie did. However, I don't think it was the smartest call for them to get their hands like right into the mud with continuing the from the original trilogy. I think that they should have done like maybe 1, 2, maybe like even 3 games of spin-off series. Maybe they expand on the Halo 3 Recon universe. They continue stories that happened with the Rookie before his untimely ending. Spoiler alert if you're a Halo fan and if you don't know what happens to the Rookie. I'll let you read up on how exactly that happens.
Yes.
Or maybe they make a spin-off series on the Elite side, the Elite's point of view of how the Covenant was started.
Yes, I love these ideas.
Maybe
and
maybe
they're all-
even go on the backstory on. I know they've done like an animated cartoon on this, but take the story of one of the arbiters that was famous for taming the hunters.
That's a great game, and that's a great story in the lore. And
They could have done all this for practice, so that they would have a good knowledge of what to do with the second trilogy.
Yeah, and it goes off your point. I mean, they could have started Halo Wars 2 now. They could have made their first game Halo Wars 2, and the fans would have loved them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because fans wanted that game, and it took them a long time to get to that point. And I would say if you're going to try to do that, try to do it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And try to get those types of... Get your feet wet. And I agree, and these ideas... The problem is that Microsoft... I don't put the blame so much on 343 as I put the blame on Microsoft themselves. Microsoft wanted the money. They wanted a quick cash grab, and 3 years after Halo Reach came out, came Halo 4.
Well, here is the other thing.
When they should have released a different game.
Here is the other thing. It wasn't the fact that Microsoft was calling all the shots. 343 definitely had some involvement in this. They were written a blank check from Microsoft to do whatever they want, and they had a huge team to work on Halo 4 as well.
Not to mention, they had all the excitement that was building off of Halo 3 and Halo Reach.
Mm-hmm.
So I pin the blame on both of them. I'm not saying both of them. I'm not saying one side's more innocent than the other. They both share some blame. But I would, if I'm putting my money on something, I think Halo 6 will probably be a good game. They'll learn their lesson. They're going to keep Warzone around. Warzone is one of the best developments in Halo multiplayer since Halo 2, and I truly believe that Halo 6 will become one of the better better Halos, not Call of Duty, of this go around of whenever it comes out, 2018 or 2019.
It's gonna be trash, dude. I can't have my heart broken again. It's gonna be trash.
But we do have, as we end this stream, we have a few strange stories for you that happened over the that happened, and we just
sometime this year.
Sometime this year, of course. Number one being this story is just, I don't know how to say it. It's just a strange thing to talk about. It's
not normal.
It's not normal at all. Truck spills tons of goo-producing eels.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing on the screen is not what you think it is.
And it is not. It is literally... And you can see some of the eels flopping on the ground still. It's a strange instance where you can see this stuff. And this happened in Oregon. And I mean, what's up with Oregon always having the strange things that happen to them?
Yeah, on the 101, you could you could drive straight up there and actually probably see it if you were going over to Oregon.
Oh, around during this time too. It was July 14th of 2017, 4:30 Eastern time. But this story, it was so weird. Why?
Now, do you think some of the slime leaked off on the truck and maybe made it spin out?
Possibly.
But it said that he tried to stop apparently while coming up against road construction, and the container flew off from it, and apparently that's how all that slime got there.
That's some sticky white stuff, and that is absolutely gross.
Yeah, and the container hit the vehicle in which that you could see.
Yeah.
It apparently hit it straight on. God, that must be, just scarring.
Oh, definitely.
But luckily, apparently, it hit the car's rear and not fully contacted through the front.
Yes,
part
and
of the car.
The weird thing is you could just imagine how the eels are just spreading that slime everywhere.
Dude, imagine just getting out of the car and just like falling, and then face first you're on slime.
And it's sticky.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just stuck there. You're kind of just hanging out on this white stuff. You don't know what it is or if it's toxic.
Yep.
But luckily, no one got hurt. It was just an accident, and the
Just
eels.
a weird story.
Weird story. But we have another one that's even weirder.
We do.
And it is half-cocked. This guy tried to... he man-tied his penis to a shotgun and then shot himself to the head.
In the head.
That's a
Now,
story.
I don't know how depressed or lonely you are. It takes a special kind of person to tie their penis to a shotgun while killing themselves.
Tied penis to shotgun. How do you tie your penis to a shotgun?
Apparently, this dude was hung.
I mean, apparently. I mean, I don't know how this works.
Either that or he was very creative with some string.
Possibly. But this story is off the charts weird.
Yep.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Could you ever see yourself tying your dick to a shotgun while, ending it all?
No, I can't. I would just drink bleach and end it there.
Would you tie your dick to the container of bleach?
No. No. God.
I mean, it's obviously horrible that someone thought got to this point that he needed to end himself, but I mean, why tie your penis? What's did someone make fun of your dick?
Size? Yeah.
It's like there needs to be some research into the motive of tying your penis to a shotgun.
Yes, and that's, again, of course, it's awful, but you just can't help but laugh at this because it's hilarious that this guy, before he decided to end it, said, "You know what's a great idea? I'm going to tie my dick to the shotgun, and I'm going to kill myself." And the thing is, we don't know if he actually pulled the trigger or if he accidentally did it, and we don't know that. There's nothing in there. But this story happened in Spain. And it's a sad story, but kind of funny at the same time.
Spaniards, man, they do not have it easy right now.
They don't. But that is it for the first podcast. I hope
that you clapped at some point.
Hope you clapped at some point, exactly. And of course, these videos will be Captain OJ. You can catch him on his channel. He's pretty much streams every day. He streams CS:GO, AOE, Age of Empires 2. Call of Duty when that comes out.
Yeah, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds going to be streaming Call of Duty World War II, and also probably going to be streaming some Destiny on PC as well.
Destiny 2 when that comes out, and we'll show you guys the trailer for Destiny 2 next week. Yes. But other than that, you can catch him on his channel, also on YouTube, where he puts up some pretty hilarious moments. Him and his buddy Strife are the king of shenanigans in not Destiny, but PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
And for those of you who are any fans of Halo and liked our little Halo discussion, Justice is in the midst of doing a Halo lore series that you can catch when it debuts on his channel at TWG Monument. It is?
Yes, it's at Tactical Warfare Gaming. Name of the channel is Tactical Warfare Gaming, and we have a set date of release for the Halo lore series, Halo Beyond the Rings, which will air on November 25th. So it'll air the Friday on Black Friday, the Saturday after Black Friday.
We're holding you to it there, dude.
And it will air, and we have the first episode already written out, and it shall be getting edited as soon as possible. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week for the second podcast, where we'll have a whole new plethora of stories that we'll be more than happy to share. But other than that, see you guys next week. Make sure you follow if you guys enjoy. And by the way, this stream will also be on the video on demand, so feel free to check it out if you guys enjoyed any sections of what we were talking about.
And it goes without saying, don't forget, guys,
please
clap.
Please clap. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.